into the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Oh yeah. The boys are back together tonight, and so are we here at AfterBuzz TV. I am Tom Connolly, and this is the Supernatural After Show, Season 10, Episode 3, Soul Survivor. That's why we have this song, as you guys are all dancing.
We're survivors!
Yes. We had a couple survivors in the show tonight, but sitting all the way at the other end, Mikaela Phillips. How you doing, Mikaela?
I am doing great, you guys. How are you guys doing?
Fabulous.
Awesome. Sitting next to her, Lyndsey Wegner. How you doing, Lyndsey?
Hi, Tom. Hi, everybody.
And sitting next to me, Campbell.
Hey.
So, guys, overall impressions of the show tonight?
Intense.
You know, reactions?
Very intense.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would say.
I like it. I'm just wondering where we're going now with
Yeah.
the season.
I was shocked.
It's kind of taken a turn very early
Yeah.
in the show, so yeah, I agree.
We waited in season 9 for Dean to turn into a demon for 24 episodes. Mm-hmm. And then
I'd say maybe 12, because there was other stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we were waiting. We knew that was probably going to happen. So we waited pretty much all season for that.
Yeah.
And now we get him as a demon. And now he's not one.
For 2
And we're in
episodes.
episode 3. I feel like this is a little premature.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering where they're going to go with this.
They've got a lot planned for us.
I hope so. I hope we don't get disappointed now, because I was enjoying Dean being a demon now. And I wanted to see at least go for maybe half the season, and then they finally, change him in that episode, and then we get the break. But
I mean, the
don't
funny
know.
thing is, Tom, though, they've been promoting like the whole new now season 10 as Demon Dean. It's like the year of the demon, and it's
Yeah.
kind of like, really, the year of the demon in 3 episodes? I think there's more to that story.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe the demon's not over.
yeah,
It's not.
I don't think so.
I believe it isn't.
Do we think he's hiding it?
I don't think he's hiding it. I just
don't
think
think
it's
he
not
isn't
going to go away
hiding
that
it.
easily.
Because when Sam threw, it was meant to be like the holy water, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing happened, so he can't really. I guess he can't hide
Yeah, I
that.
don't think. Yeah, you can't hide that. And I feel like Cass would have known, that
Yeah.
he,
Like, sensed it.
Yeah. But so let's get into the episode.
Yeah,
Let's talk about Crowley first, because it seems like since Crowley was on his little vacation with his BFF Dean,
Sabbatical.
Yeah, that all the other demons are now kind of mad at him because they've been doing the dirty work of just kind of, I guess running hell without him. And they're just, and he, Crowley's back to his, I guess, day job of, sitting there, telling what's going to happen to this demon or that demon. And he looks very bored.
He does. He's very bored.
Well, he's reminiscing on time.
Yeah,
That
better
was
days.
funny.
Better days.
Better
he was-
days.
as he quote.
I like that.
Yeah, and then there was a demon who wanted to be Crowley's new best
Wingman.
friend.
Oh, that
yeah,
was so funny.
he's like, I like rock and roll. I can,
I like
kill
pulling the
people.
chicks.
Yeah. And Crowley was like, but you're not Dean, so you're dead.
Bam.
Snaps
Goodbye.
away.
Yeah. Which I thought it was a cool way to see him die, like just turn into smoke.
Dust.
Yeah, dust.
Ashes to
Yeah.
ashes, dust to dust.
But what do you guys think of Crowley? Doing his day-to-day job now. He just.
I like seeing it. I like seeing him ruling over hell and maybe seeing what it would be like in a day in his life and if we had Dean down there with him. So it's definitely interesting to see what he's doing. And I think the uprising that's happening with his minions, as we'll call them, I guess.
That's fitting.
I guess seeing that kind of happening is gonna bring a little bit of drama to the season. What do you ladies think?
I definitely think it was cool seeing Crowley back in his kind of, it's basically his routine, but he seemed very complacent, to be honest. That's what I think.
I think that he looked bored, but it's funny, like you said, to see. I think that's going to become something of the season with his minions. You know, you had everything from, as we were talking about, the guy who wanted to be his partner to the guy who was like, I'm not going to live in this hell that you've created. And he killed himself. He set himself on fire.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
That was, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good sign. And like Crowley said, he didn't expect that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, because I think he just thinks that he's the king of hell. Everything's gonna go smoothly down there, but he's at least trying to, or at least he's getting the consequences of him being gone, and having his fun with Dean. So then that demon did kill himself because he said, I'm not gonna, what's our reward for being in hell, and so he killed himself. And I mean, what do they really get? What do you think is their reward for being down there? Like,
it's not like they're making a salary.
Yeah, I know. Well, I guess maybe if they work for Crowley, they don't get tortured.
Yeah, so maybe that's like, it's literally still a deal. Like, if they work for him, it's better off than them being in hell.
Yeah.
Eternal life at his side. And I mean, I would feel like that's a pretty prestigious position to say that you work for the king of hell.
Yeah. And I guess they don't get to, do they get to come to Earth and
I think some
hang
we've
out?
seen have that work with Crowley. I think we've seen he has his minions.
Yeah.
Or he's like close people up there in hell with him that kind of help him out on some missions and stuff like that. I think we've seen that in past episodes and seasons.
Yeah. So we, they had Abaddon last season where she had her own group of people. Maybe we'll see those people start to uprise again.
That's a good point.
Were you gonna?
Well, I was gonna say that he did sentence that one guy to death that was an Abaddon follower.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Remember? So there's one of them.
And as we were watching, they had like a
Sorry,
like a
it's covering your
blade.
face. I can see it on the camera.
They had like a blade that they killed that guy with, and I was like, do you guys know what kind of blade that is? Because it kind of looked like an angel blade. But I couldn't tell, and I mean, it killed them like they kill other demons, like Sam and Dean do. I just thought it was an interesting, kind of little piece of I feel like we've never seen that before,
Yeah.
especially in hell. But who knows? Maybe they just have them sitting around down there, and they can just kill each other with them. I don't know.
They probably have hell games. Oh, let's just challenge each other. Let's see who dies.
Yeah, I mean, they gotta have some kind of entertainment down there. Maybe that's the reward. They don't get put in the, the chamber of killing each other. But let's get to, so we'll get to Crowley in a little bit with Cass. But so Cass and Hannah are driving. Cass is getting worse. And Hannah, expresses, some feelings toward Cass, saying, she's worried about him, which we kind of alluded to last week, that there's definitely kind of something
Brewing.
Yeah, maybe happening. But Cass shuts that down real fast. He just basically tells her, we can't lose sight of the mission that we're on.
With all his innuendos.
Yes.
Oh, I think, as soon as that started, I was like, I see where he's going with this. I see what you're doing, Cass.
Yeah.
Felt bad for her a little bit.
Yeah. And she kind of called him out on it, which I thought was super cool, being a girl. I was like, yeah, you call him out on what he's doing, what he's saying.
Well, it's not just us that see this little something brewing. I mean, Crowley mentioned that.
Your girlfriend.
Yeah, your girlfriend.
Yeah.
So something's
And
gonna
also Cass does too. Otherwise, he kind of wouldn't have made it, I don't think, a big deal. And beating around the bush the way he was saying it to her.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. What do you think, Lyndsey?
I mean, we discussed this last week, and Cass being really cute with a little girl and stuff, and potentially seeing more of a human side of him interacting with family or finding somebody that he can fall in love with and get married to, or some, who knows what. But I would like to see him find happiness for sure. And I think that this is just a little kink in the road. I think that there's definitely, they're creating this chemistry for a reason.
Agree.
There's
Yeah.
chemistry. I mean, I think we've all noticed it. Viewers, I'm sure you guys have noticed it. So, I mean, if you think that there's chemistry, let us know. But I feel like there's a good chemistry between them. So I think they're just going to kind of push it to the wayside for a little while, and then they'll have a reason
Their
to
time.
come back around to it.
But also, we haven't really seen that kind of storyline on this show in a while of, a love story, if you really want to say.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been those, summer hookup girls that they've all been with, and then once the fall comes around, they're like, "See you later. I gotta go fight demons with my brother. See you later." But yeah, and we like I said, we talked last week about Cass, you know, with a demon last year, so it's on its way.
I thought one of them was going to end up sacrificing for the other one. Did you guys think that too?
For Sam and Dean, or
for Cass and Hannah.
I was glad it didn't happen.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was gonna happen.
You didn't.
No.
At least not this early, maybe. Like I can see it happening later.
Yeah, just not.
Yeah.
This is early in the season.
Well, they're giving us so many big things right now early on. I wouldn't put it past them, but I was hoping, obviously, it wasn't going to happen right away. But I thought that there was like a glimmer of gosh.
Speaking of, though, like you just said, the big things that they're kind of just throwing at us into the storyline. That kind of makes me now think like, oh, is there going to be like a lot of unanswered questions like as the season now goes on and brings us to, again, the season finale? I feel like you're saying, there's going to be a lot of big stuff, but maybe not everything will necessarily be answered. More than like just the normal cliffhanger of like a season finale.
Yeah. I mean, that could work. I mean, I feel like last year it was slow paced more. Sorry, shook the table. It was a lot more slow paced than I think this season has already been. I mean, and we're only 3 episodes in. Seeing that Dean is back and all that kind of stuff. We'll get to it, but yeah, I mean, I think I hope it's fast paced because I don't want to be this. I don't want the episodes of like, oh well, this is just a throwaway episode to just show some side story of blah 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 anymore. I think
like a filler.
Yeah. I feel like we're too far into this series to just have filler episodes anymore. Like they all need to be at least majority of it needs to be important to the storyline as it goes along.
I think a lot of television shows sometimes go through like a rut. And especially when you're working on a show that's now in its 10th season, there's going to be episodes that aren't as good. I mean, when you go back and look at Friends episodes, there are just certain episodes that just aren't very good, or even seasons that you're just kind of like with Lost. There was that whole season where like, did any of that make any sense? And did it come back? No,
it always
didn't.
made sense.
But maybe, I think sometimes, especially like I said, with a show that has this many seasons, it's hard to come up with new content and have so much go on. So this season, obviously, it was rumored that this was going to be the last season. I know we thought that it for sure was. We thought last season it was going to be the end season. But people are saying they don't think it is anymore.
I don't think it will be.
So that gives them more space to kind of play. But I feel like these episodes, like you said, Tom, are much more aggressive and stuff going on, and it's hooking you right away. So if somebody was a new fan to Supernatural, this would be a season that I think would bring them and hook them right in.
Yeah.
And maybe go back then and watch previous seasons.
And get an idea of like how it came from to now.
Yeah,
Katie, what do you think?
Yeah.
First. I mean, I think a lot is happening, and I like to see that. I like when stuff moves fast paced, and I'm just curious as where it's going to go, but I'm sure they're going to pick it up and do something with it.
Yeah, so to get back to it, I wrote down, I said, Cass said, no hanky-panky until the mission is over, Hannah. So they go to this gas station, Hannah goes inside, and we find Adina inside. The clerk is, his eyeballs are...
that was graphic.
Gone. And, Cass says to Adina, like, kill me, like, don't kill her, like, let her go. And Adina just kind of starts beating the crap out of Cass. And then out of nowhere, we see a very unlikely ally, Crowley, show up and ends up killing Adina. Well, he slits her throat, takes her grace, and then kills her. His line was awesome where he's like, why can't you just stay up and sit in the clouds and play accordions like yours or something like that. I thought it was a cool line.
Again, with the greatest lines.
Yes. And then Crowley gives Cass the grace to heal him now. And he says to Cass, he's like, you're useless to me dead. And that Cass owes him now. So that's, already setting up another, kind of landmark of
will go.
Like what does Cass owe Crowley now?
Well, he was doing that too because he said that Dean was just making a mess of things and to fix him. And I think that was triggered by his minions and the little uprising that's happening, the one guy who did light himself on fire mentioned that now Dean's running up there, you can't even control him.
Yeah.
So he's trying to take control of the situation, and he wants Cass to do something for him.
Well, and Cass said that if they have to, they could kill him, and Crowley didn't care. He's like, I don't care.
I think he cares.
Oh,
Yeah.
he totally cares, but he's playing it off like he
Yeah.
doesn't care. He
Yeah.
doesn't want anyone to know his true feelings. I mean, obviously there's a reason that he is saving Cass, and it's so that he can come back and he can act on his favor at some point, and I don't think it's going to be in favor of Castiel at all.
Yeah, or
My
the, or the
favorite-
boys.
Or the boys.
Yeah, my favorite part of the scene that you were just mentioning with Crowley giving Cass the grace was when he would kind of like was like to him, "Don't worry, your hands are clean." Like that he didn't take the grace. And I thought that was actually a really good part for them to put in. I
Yeah.
actually
Absolutely.
personally really loved that because of course like we know what Cass is like, and that's why he hasn't refilled that grace. So I think that was like actually really good. I quite enjoyed that line.
Yeah,
And of course the line that Crowley was like, you know, yo, you owe me.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense too, because then Hannah didn't have to kill her either to get
Yeah.
the grace too. So, but now he's in debt to the King of Hell. So I don't know if I really want to be in debt to Crowley.
But at least they didn't go to Metatron.
They
'Cause I
yes,
feel like that would.
Yeah.
yeah.
I remember when we were speaking about that in the predictions too last week. I really thought that was going to happen, but maybe it still will.
Yeah, because I mean,
It will run out.
I guess he will run out again. So I feel like it's going to the point of Cass needs to get his own grace back.
Yeah.
Like that's still out there, so he still needs it. And I think that will heal him completely. So we'll have to get to that. Another plot point to get to later in the season. At least they're setting things up, which I like.
That's true.
We're going down multiple roads of seeing what's going on. But so let's get to Sam and Dean, who finally back together. Dean is held in the demon trap down in the bunker, and Sam he gets this blessed blood from the blood bank or wherever he got it from, some hospital, and he's attempts to bring Dean back, and Dean really doesn't want to go back to being Dean again. He's like, no, this is me, this is the real Dean, and I don't know, what did you guys think of him not wanting to go back to being human?
I honestly thought it was literally just the demon talking. I mean, I don't think we can really say it's Dean who is speaking about that, which is what Sam basically told him. But yeah, definitely, I do think there's that bit of Dean that we knew was inside of him, and now he has come back for now. But what do you think, you guys?
I think that it was the demon talking. At one point he said, no, this is me, this is Dean, it's just I'm the new Dean. But then later on
mean Dean, right?
Yes, but then later on he said, your brother's gone.
Yeah, he said Dean's MIA.
Yeah. So I think it was the demon talking, and I don't want to hold him accountable, even though he said a lot of hurtful things. And you could see Sam didn't like those things, but it wasn't going to stop him.
Yeah.
He was still going to fix him.
I absolutely 100% agree with you. It definitely was Dean talking. It wasn't really coming from the place. And he said hurtful things like, you're the reason our mother is dead. And Dad, like, that's anything better. So knowing that those words are going to hurt, but what would a demon do? A demon's there to hurt you. So he's going to say anything and do anything in his power to hurt him so that he can continue to be the demon that he is. He's not going to take responsibility. So here he is, full demon, telling Sam these things, and I think it was awesome of Sam to not falter in the slightest. Be nervous at first and say, I don't know, are we killing him? But to really go, no, this is going to heal him, and I need to trust it and believe it, and if I have to kill him, then so be it.
Yeah, but he had to try it. And what's interesting about Dean mentioning his father and saying, he brainwashed us into fighting his losing battle. I was like, wow, that is the complete opposite, because from the get-go, Dean was on his, he was doing anything that his dad, he was fighting the demons. He was going to do what his dad wanted.
It's true. If you go back to the very first episode of Supernatural, it's him coming to Sam and telling him, we need to take over the family business. We need to go find Dan. Because I think at that point in the first season, John Winchester's missing. And I think that's when he goes to Sam. So definitely, like, Dean's always been a part of the family business. And there was something I wanted to say, and now I completely forgot.
All right, well, if you remember, let us know. But
I will.
Yeah, I did like what Dean was saying, though. And, he said to Sam, he's like, well, do you even have the stomach to kill me, though? And
he was really tormenting him. That's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say.
Taunting,
He was
yeah.
really tormenting him and playing on like the emotional things of the mom and their dad. That was really devious.
yeah. But also we find out that Sam really doesn't have the stomach to kill Dean if he really has to, as we saw later. But I liked when he went into Dean's room and I said he found porn pie and pictures of their friends and family, which you guys pointed out when we were in there. And then he escaped because he was it was working. He was becoming human again. So the cuffs he was able to get the cuffs off and just walk out of the
Said it
trap.
smarted a little bit.
Yeah. But were you gonna say something?
I was just gonna say that when you said that he doesn't really have the stomach to kill Dean, I agree, but then I think he saw Castiel coming up.
Oh, at
He
the
saw
end?
him in the so
Okay.
what if he wasn't there? Do you think he would have gone and killed him
No.
in fear for his own life? No.
No.
Yeah.
I really
mean,
don't think he would.
Yeah, it's his brother. But I just thought that was interesting. I think he might have seen Cass coming up.
I think if he had thought that Dean was completely gone inside and it was just the demon, I think he would have probably slit the throat. But since I think he knows that Dean is still in there, I think that might have also be what hesitated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, do you think if it was reversed, do you think Dean would have killed Sam?
Yes.
I want to say yes, but then I kind of like no.
I don't know. It would.
I don't know.
I think we can't take that turn in the road yet because it's too close to the beginning of a season. But had this been later on in the season and coming to a close, I wouldn't have doubted it for a second.
That
I think
Sam
that
would have
Sam
killed
would
Dean?
have, or no, that Dean would have
Dean.
killed
Oh,
Sam.
gotcha.
No
okay.
problem.
Do you think if it was later in the season, Sam would have killed Dean? No.
I still think
You
Sam
still think-
would have.
yeah.
He has too much love for him, and like kind of we didn't touch on the fact that Dean had actually said, "Who's the monster? Is it me or is it you?" Because we saw a flashback
Yeah.
to Lester, who Dean killed in the last episode, sitting at a bar complaining about his wife, and Sam actually has him summon a demon,
A crossroads demon.
yeah, a crossroads demon for him, so that he can find out where Dean and Crowley are.
Yeah, and that was the
then-
girl that was in the very first episode that Sam was torturing.
So, I mean, all of that right there, that was just like, I mean, Dean saying, who's worse? You had an innocent guy killed and his soul taken. For
And
your
his wife married the guy with the tattoos.
Basically, it makes them even almost.
Yeah.
yeah,
He's
it's
kinda-
pretty.
But I feel like
Laid
Dean's
out.
probably done a lot worse.
Yeah.
But-
while he
but
was.
in
But
this
Sam was
context.
doing it out of love to find
Yeah.
Dean.
Yeah.
Dean's not doing anything out of love for his brother.
I think that's what makes a lot of their choices different too. That Sam is the younger brother, and Dean's the older brother. So I think that also has a impact on what their decision making is. Like how we were just saying, like, would Dean kill Sam? Yeah, you know what, that convinces me that he probably would, because he's the older brother that's always been there for him, whereas Sam's the younger brother. It's like, no, I'm not going to kill my older bro.
Even though Dean tried to move as far away from Sam as possible, which I think was a choice out of love. I do think that was
You mean
out
like
of
when he
love.
was saying that at the
When he
beginning
was,
of trying to
when he
get
was saying,
away?
I tried to get as far away from you as possible. Tom, Katie, yes.
Yeah,
I agree.
But that was also the demon talking. So it's kind of like, was the demon just trying to get away because he didn't want Sam to find him and
Well, maybe-
get caught and have
Yeah.
be turned back into human? There's so many like layers there of because he was talking so much like trash about their mom and their mom would be alive and their dad but then he says something like, well, I tried to get away from you, but you kept trying to find me.
Well, maybe real Dean was influencing Demon Dean's answers.
Maybe. We just need like two different bodies now. Make it much easier. But yeah, so Dean did escape. So then like the hunt was on through the bunker, and Dean ended up finding a hammer and was busting down the doors to basically get at Sam as fast as he could and he's like, I'm not leaving until I find you. And as Sam turned on he closed all the doors, which I kind of think is weird, where he told Cass when he was on the phone, when Sam called Cass, said, I'm going to leave the door unlocked so you can get in. Yet he hit the emergency lock. So
Right.
how did Cass get inside?
Because
turned it
Dean
back
flipped
on.
it back
Dean
up.
flipped it back
Oh,
on.
he did.
That's
Oh,
what it
sorry.
was.
I'm sorry.
But he locked him in that room for a reason, because he could lock him into that room, and he didn't think Dean would be able to get out. And that was the only room that he had the key to lock him into, the electrical room.
Gotcha. Okay. Sorry, I missed that. That's my fault. I was like, wait, but how do you get it in if it was all locked and lockdown?
And you know what? I want to say, Lyndsey, you brought up the amazing acting that's happening, you know, with these two brothers, these two, you know, you could see that when he was breaking through that door and he was this demon, he was this like, he didn't care, he was still going to kill him. And then that fear in Sam, and that every time he was trembling, every time he beat down the door, I was just amazing.
Choking back emotion from Sam. And just, I mean, they always say you don't want to use your eyebrows when you're acting because it gives away so much. And Dean didn't. He's looking at him, and it's the way he's looking at him in the flick of his eyes and everything.
Piercing.
It's just crazy. It's just insane. It's so good this season. Everyone's on point. I mean, it's always the show. I always think the acting on the show is really good. The direction that they're given, writing, everything. Credit to everybody, cast and crew on that show for what they do. But it just feels so on point, and it almost feels like Dean is so good at being Demon Dean. It's really kind of creepy.
It's
like
scary.
he should play more characters like this. I don't know what he did. Was he on General Hospital or Days of Our Lives?
I think he was Days of Our Lives.
Days of Our Lives.
when he
I
first
don't
started.
know what his character was on there. If he was I think he was a good guy.
I mean, all I know is if you YouTube Jensen Ackles Days of Our Lives, there's like a shower scene. I don't know.
Oh, let me see
And
that.
all the ladies,
You're like,
and all
"Oh,
the ladies,
Jesus."
of course, today were mentioning how handsome Dean was looking too.
I actually just want to mention.
I
Speaking
thought you guys
of,
were talking about me.
We were, Tom.
Jeez.
We were talking about you.
yeah, I actually just want to mention. Speaking about the scene with Dan scene when he's knocking down with the axe the door. I thought that was like such an epic scene. With their acting wise, it was intense, and their like the facial expressions were just amazing. And I'm not sure if you guys know, but I'm not sure if the fans know, but Jensen Ackles actually directed this episode.
Oh.
Yeah, I read
Did
that.
he?
He did.
read that.
He did. So very good job, Jensen.
Nice job. Wow.
I mean, to be able to put that emotion and talent into the scene, and then also be directing at the same time.
Yeah.
That's really amazing, honestly.
I think I saw that in a spoiler alert.
Yeah.
And hopefully he'll direct some more episodes on, because
definitely.
this was this is a great episode. And we like when Misha Collins directs
Yeah,
episodes
and he did
and
one
stuff.
last season. Yeah, he did one. I'm not
So
sure.
it's-
He'll probably do one this season too.
It's always interesting when the castmates do the directing of an episode. It's almost sometimes better when they
really
do it.
is, I think, sometimes.
Because they understand the process. I don't know. Some directors that have been actors or have done acting understand the process. So when you actually have an actor directing an episode, they almost can get into it more.
Well, they're more, exactly. They're more in tune with the character. That's them, who they're playing.
And I was gonna say, I feel like I have to look back at the credits, but I think they have a lot of the same people
directing, which
Yeah.
they
their
should.
episodes, which
On
is,
and off.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In one of we talked about Yale's interviews at Comic-Con, and she asks him, he talks about directing and acting. And he talks about,
that's really
doing
cool.
both. So in case that anybody wants to look back at
Yeah,
that.
they can check
Awesome.
them out.
But yeah, so, and just to talk about the acting still, when Dean becomes human again, Cass shows up to save the day. They cure Dean, and it was, to me, like, to go back to the acting, like, we saw him as Demon Dean, and then when him and Cass were in Dean's room talking, it was unbelievable to me that it was the same guy that 10 minutes ago was bashing down that door, and you're like, oh, okay, that's Dean, and you're like, oh, the other guy is Demon. You're like, I was like, wow, I was like, that was awesome, because you could really tell that he was back to being himself.
Yeah.
I think we were all kind of like, oh, his eyes are gonna flick. Oh, we're gonna see it.
It was too easy.
Yes. Yeah. What do you guys think of that? Do you think it was too easy that they brought him back too fast?
I mean, we were all watching it, and we're like, that's too easy. That can't be, like, that quickly.
Well, I think that just shows us that there's something more. The Mark of Cain is gonna have more of an influence on him, and he might flip back toward that or have those demon tendencies.
Right. Absolutely, Katie. In fact, we heard, obviously, Cass say, I know you're going out to get Dean food and bring him some cholesterol back,
mention this.
but you may have cured the demon, but you haven't gotten rid of the Mark of Cain, and Sam doesn't want to worry about that right now at this
He
point.
just wanted to get drunk.
Yeah, there's more to do than worry about that right now. He at least got his brother back. Which brings up do we want to talk about Denise's question, or do we want to wait for predictions?
No, you can do it. Do you have the question?
Denise wrote to us. Thank you, Denise.
I think I wrote
Hi.
it down, actually.
Thank you for writing to us and here at AfterBuzz TV for Supernatural. She was asking if we think that Cole's appearance in the show, he was the hunter from last week. You guys all know that. Anyway, if he's going to be the in to bring back John Winchester, and if later on in the season another character will come back to reveal himself and be Cain's brother.
You mean Cole's brother?
Cole's brother. To bring the mark of Cain to Cole, because Cole has realized Dean did not kill his father. It was actually John Winchester. So they become at peace and become friends, transfer the mark of Cain, and then spin off.
Right. Well, going on.
So,
Yeah. Oh, you sorry.
Go ahead. No. That was. I hope I got that all right.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, speaking of that prediction that Denise, I guess it's a prediction, that Denise sent in. If, let's play along with it. If that did happen, I definitely feel there would be a flashback to show that Dean was in fact who killed Cole's dad. It was John. And, sometimes we see stuff like this in series like this, and they show that, the character had it wrong. It was like the trauma, the post-traumatic stress, and they just kind of put two things together. So I definitely feel it could be John, but I don't know what that would prove if it was, because Cole went out for revenge with Dean, but he can't get anything from a dead Winchester.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he would get from that.
Well, the question asked too is, why would Cole want the mark of Cain?
I don't. Yeah. I mean, I guess.
I don't
know.
Well, because Cole has been training to kill Dean and to find Dean, I can understand that desire then to kill. And we obviously at some point need to pass off, if Dean is going to stay human and not rule over hell like I had predicted last season, the mark of Cain does need to be passed on at some point. So who would be a good candidate for that? Could it be Cole?
Well, but he hated the fact that the demon killed his father, is what he's thinking.
But does
in
the
his
mark
mind.
of Cain have to be passed on?
I mean, Cain had it forever. he was fine. He was surviving.
Yeah.
It's far away from the first blade.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't. Yeah, like you said, with bringing John Winchester back, I don't know how they would bring him back. That would just be, I think, a little too complicated, maybe, because he is dead and he's been gone forever. It would have to be a whole flashback episode that we see Dean and John.
A whole episode.
Yeah, just to that.
Just that.
Yeah, which I think would be cool to see, just kind of to at least get us clarification on what happened in that house. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of think anything is possible.
Yeah, it's always up in the air.
But at least for the they tried to do the spin-off last year of the Bloodlines, but that didn't get picked up. And I said last season, their spin-off is right in front of them. It's a Men of Letters spin-off that goes back to the 40s and 50s.
Oh, that's cool.
And then they start from there, and then you don't have to have any of the, it can be its own separate thing, but you still have that, foundation of Supernatural in the end. And you could, have their grandfather or have Winchesters or, somewhere along the lines. I don't know. I think that would have been a better spinoff to me.
I agree. We really didn't like the Bloodline spinoff. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it was missing so many things and just.
Well, I read that while it didn't get picked up, they were going to try again.
Okay.
Oh.
So they are looking to do a spin-off then?
I mean, it would make
that's something
sense.
They're interested in?
Would you guys want to see what if you guys could pick a spin-off, what would it be?
I think it'd be interesting to see it. I like
To
spin-offs,
see
especially.
the Bloodlines one or something different?
Well, I kind of like what you just said about going back with the Men of Letters. I never actually thought about that until just now. I think that would be interesting to see.
Because I think, it's one of those where, they have this whole bunker with all this stuff in it. How did they get all that information in there? It didn't just show up. So people had to have discovered vampires and werewolves and all that kind of stuff to, make all these books. So
You realize, Tom, that you could write this.
well, listen,
And
if anybody
considering we're
Supernatural,
connected right now to Supernatural, you would be a great candidate
listen,
for this.
if you want me, you can find me on Twitter at Tom Connolly.
I think
Seriously, it's a great idea.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting because I love flashbacks and I love history, like, you know, tying in the history of why this happened. And, like, I want to know why, if it was in fact Dean, if it wasn't Dean, what happened in that house with Cole's father? I want to know. I love the flashbacks of going back in time, going back to the 40s and the 50s. I think that would be very interesting.
I think we will see what happened. I feel like we have to go back and see what happened with Cole. There's got to be. We saw him, going to the library trying to find demon stuff. So I think it's, it's bound to happen.
It's
We're
not
gonna
the
find
last
out.
we've seen of Cole.
No.
Yes,
No.
Denise, I think we will find out what happens. Hopefully.
Thank you, Denise, for the question.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, so we think it's we thought it was too easy for him to bring Dean back, though. He has the mark, so I think he's going to want to kill eventually, which we will, hopefully see sometime. Because, I think once he gets his, bacon cheeseburgers in.
And pie.
Yeah, then I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be, ready to kill again. And even, Cass said to him, he's like, maybe you should rest. Because everything's kind of been okay lately, like... hell's in order, heaven's kind of in order.
Do you think that he's going to still need to be kind of getting the syringes of blood still, though? Because remember last year, as soon as he got the mark, it started to take over, and eventually we saw the addiction starting. So now he's not a demon anymore, but he's still going to have that addiction and to find the blade. So he's either going to have to continue these injections to keep it at bay.
I think so.
Or... I don't know what otherwise is going to happen.
But I don't think the blood injections will help with the mark, though.
Well, it'll
Because that
just
would
keep
just keep
him
him-
human.
Keep him,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so he doesn't have that need and desire, an addiction to
Right.
the blade and to killing and wanting that. Because obviously he's going to want that. But we saw how it eventually overtook everything and he started to get crazy as the episodes went on and on. So if they keep giving him the injections, maybe it will at least slow the process.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think that could be one way. I think the only other way, one other way could be if they approach someone who knew Kane. I don't know if there's anyone still alive who knew Kane or was familiar with the mark that he had. And if they go ahead and ask him, or not him, but Kane, but someone that he knew, or even maybe Crowley. Does Crowley know? And then they might be able to find a way that way.
Crowley knew how to find Kane last season.
He got the blade.
And Crowley still has the blade.
Well, Crowley hid the blade,
Yeah.
as far as we know.
Yeah. He's put away for safekeeping.
That's what Crowley says. So I'll believe that when I don't see him take it out of his back pocket and go, here you go, Dean, go on Sam again.
But he doesn't want him to be a demon anymore.
No, he doesn't. No,
That's true.
And I wanted to talk about that when we were talking about, I think that's why he gave Cass the grace, because he was like, I can't have my demons wanting to side with Dean Winchester and throw me out of hell now.
Good point.
So I think that's why he was like, you take care of it, you fix him, you do whatever you need, because I don't want to have to deal with this now. Even though I made this mess, I don't want it now.
Right.
Which I thought was very interesting of Crowley to just kind of give up to. And I don't know, we've seen Crowley do a lot of things, and the fact that he kind of is giving up that easily and just, after hanging out with, he was with Dean for a couple months and nothing really happened, but I just think it's kind of like, he's like, okay, yeah, Cass, you go fix him now.
Well, as we know, Crowley thinks 10 steps ahead. So maybe that's him thinking I'll lose the battle, but I'll win the war.
Yeah.
Maybe he's having that kind of outlook.
Great point.
Thanks.
Yeah. And then at the very end, we see this hotel in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and there's this redheaded woman sitting in this hotel room.
Yeah.
And some blood drops onto her arm, and she kind of wipes it off, and she looks up, and there's 2 bellhops nailed to the ceiling,
It's interesting.
dead, and she's just kind of sitting there reading a book or the newspaper or something.
Smirking.
Yeah.
It's funny because Cass just said in the previous scene, the scene right before that, he said that, everything's in order, take some time, heal yourself, heaven and hell are pretty, and I was thinking, what's going to happen now? And then we see this woman. Who is this woman? That she's going to, start something or be a major role in things taking a turn for the worse.
Did any of you think at first it could have been Abaddon? I know we saw her killed last season, but you see the red hair, and instantly, I mean, I loved Abaddon, so, I mean, not for what she did, but I loved her character and thought she was amazing and a strong, powerful woman. So to see her come back would have been awesome, but we'll have a new
character.
She'll never live up to Abaddon, but
new female vixen, maybe.
Yeah, I
Like
mean, it'll
that.
be interesting to see who she is and what she wants to do. Is she going against Crowley or going against Cass or,
I have a prediction for that, actually.
Okay,
so
we'll get to that in a second. And then we saw a preview for next week where it looked like vampires.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So it's like they're, kind of like back to work again in some town, dealing with vampires like they always do. But I mean, we'll see what happens. The previews have been really short, I think.
Yeah.
So
Really short,
we
like-
didn't really get to see anything that was going on.
They just showed us that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to see that though. I like that. I want to see an episode of them back together, getting into their costumes, and figuring something out.
I'm
Yeah.
just glad to see the Chevy Impala.
And then I have a question before we get to predictions. Do you guys think there would ever be a Supernatural movie?
I think my gosh just speaks for itself. I would love that. Oh my gosh, yes.
I think that has to happen kind of like Sex and the City did a couple years later.
Yeah, like when this can't go on any further.
When the show has ended and they come back to it. I feel like if it happened right now, it wouldn't make sense and it wouldn't be conducive with the show. So I don't think the show would allow a movie to be written right now. I feel like it would just be literally, I mean, if this is the last season, 2 years from now, then we hear the talks of them doing a movie. I feel like that could happen.
The only other way I think that it could, before like the show came to a conclusion, would be if it's more like a prequel kind of movie. So before the Winchester brothers, and it kind of shows like what you were saying for a spin-off, I guess, but in a movie. I guess that might be the only way it could work while the show is still on the air.
I think that might be a little bit difficult considering it's 10 years later.
I think
And they have to do some major Photoshop and editing to get
Hey, we
things
saw that in that picture tonight. That was definitely Photoshop.
I mean, Jensen Jarrett probably wouldn't be in it then. It could
Yeah,
be-
it could be
they
before.
may have to cast.
So that'd be interesting.
Yeah, like a John Winchester movie would be a cool idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before them. I mean, we've seen them go back in time to meet him and all that kind of stuff, but it could still work. I don't know. I thought of that.
Yeah,
we were
why don't
talking
you
about
phrase the
spin-offs
question,
and stuff, and I just thought it would be a cool idea. I mean, it's a show that's been on for 10 years, so I think it would do good, like do well in the theaters too if it was a good storyline. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought of it, so I wanted to ask you guys a question. But let's get to predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Who wants to go first?
I mean, I can start off,
Okay,
you
go
guys, if
ahead.
you want. Okay, so one of my predictions, actually, I was going to have for this episode, kind of what I thought of after last week, was that we see in the season 10 trailer Dean wielding that axe, but he actually kind of used that in tonight's episode. Was that an axe that he used?
Or he had a hammer, yeah.
Yeah, so I was actually going to predict that was like him trying to make a new blade or a new mark of Cain. So that kind of didn't go according to my prediction. And then my prediction with seeing the redhead vixen, I guess we can call her that, at the end, was there's been some rumors going around that Supernatural is going to be introducing witches into this season. So I think, spoiler alert, you guys, I think that might be something she's a part of. I definitely think that might come into it. So that could be who our unknown mystery woman is.
I
That'd be
love
cool.
that, Mikaela. I think that's awesome. I think that would be really, really neat to see and give them a new spin, a new angle to add in. And as we've talked about in the past, they always kill off the female characters so quickly. None of them really stick around a lot. We still get to see Jodie, we still get to see Charlie, stuff like that. But like most of the female characters get killed off pretty quickly. So it would be awesome to see another strong woman or wonderful witch vixen or whatever
We'll just
she is.
And even, like, tempting them.
Bring in like 15 girls, and then if some of them get killed off, then it's not as like, oh, they all got killed off, like, you know.
Good point. My prediction is that I think Cole will be back. We'll get to see a little bit more of what he's been doing to get to Sam and Dean, and if we don't see it this episode, it'll be in the next episode. and that we're going to see Dean's first withdrawals from being a demon and excited to be out with Sam, which I love. I want to see them back together, working together. But we're going to see the first signs and symptoms of his withdrawal from being a demon and from the mark of Cain. And there's going to have to be some explanation on what he does to move past that.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. I think that we're going to see some demon tendencies come out of Dean. That's my prediction. And I also think that you brought up a good point about the blood. I think that we're going to have to keep injecting him with that just to keep him human and keep the demon stuff at bay. And I really like your prediction, Mikaela, about her being a witch. I would love to see that. I think that would be really fun. And still, I think Hannah and Cass are going to be something. I think they're building us up for it, but it'll happen. And I mean,
we ship. What would their name be? What would their ship name be? Canna, or would it be Hass? Which way do you
probably Canna?
Canna.
We ship Canna.
Castiel.
Castiel. That's cute.
I'm trying to think. I like the witch idea. We haven't seen that. I do know that Charlie will be back sometime this season. They're gonna have an episode, and the 5th episode is the 200th episode.
Yep.
So that should be really good. I'm excited for that.
It's actually going to be musical.
I was going to say, I read that.
I read it. It's about, we should do this in news, but whatever, it doesn't matter. It's about, I guess, they had the books that were written about him. Well, now there's like a play.
Oh, no
And so
way.
they go to investigate this play that's being haunted. So it sounds like it's going to be really fun.
And I heard that a
awesome.
lot of the characters are going to come back.
Oh, really?
For that
These characters.
episode.
Yeah, for that specific
Oh,
episode.
it's going to be good.
I wish that was next week. No. I do think, at least with the, if Dean needs blood, vampires will maybe help. Maybe they need some special blood to make him extra human. I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen? I'm trying to think whether... I don't really have any predictions this week.
I have
I don't
one
know.
more if I can add
Yeah,
it.
go ahead. Yeah.
My other prediction was Cass and Crowley's alliance kind of going on. I definitely think that's going to be something. Like, he did say, you owe me, but it might just not be like, you owe me a favor or you have to do this for me. It might be the start of an unlikely alliance between the two.
I like that idea. Yeah, because it as much as Crowley is a bad guy, he is kind of good in the same way. Like, he did help Cass. Like, he does have a reason for why he's doing things, but I think I think
There's motives.
I think really deep down he does like these people. Like, he does like Sam and Dean and Cass. But
They've grown on him.
Yes, yeah. So he can't just be like, oh, you're dead. I don't need you anymore.
Right.
He wants them around. So. And I think I hope we see Dean and Crowley back together again, somewhere.
reunion?
Yeah. I don't know, but more like not a friendly reunion, not like them just hating on each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of my predictions. I was trying to think of something, but
That's cool. I mean, I think we
I'll get on that Men of Letters.
Spin-off.
Spin-off. Hit me up on Twitter. But I think that wraps us up for this week.
It does.
Mikaela, where can the people find you?
Hey guys, you can find me on my website at bymiki.com. That's bymiki.com, and all my social media links are there.
And you guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Lyndsey Wegner. That's LYNDSEYWEGNER. And my blog, lyndseywegner.blogspot.com.
You can find me on Twitter at Katie Campbell. That's Katie with 3 E's, and on Instagram at Katie Campbell 13.
And you guys can find me on Twitter at TomMcCom. And you guys leave comments below. Give us 5-star ratings on iTunes. And if you guys have questions, definitely put them in the comments, and we will address them like on the next week's show, or we'll write comments after. I know,
we'll reply.
Mikaela, you're replying.
We always comment and write back.
Awesome.
So
Yes.
tell us what you think.
Yes, so you guys do that. And you can find me tomorrow night at 10 o'clock for main event here at AfterBuzz, and every Wednesday, Supernatural. I'll be here. So we'll see you guys next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.